welcome everyone to Build to Bronze. I think we're on week 6 this week, so we've got 3 weeks to go before Easter. So I'm going to hand over to Justin to do a bit of a recap from last week because I wasn't here, and I do apologize for getting the recording out late. I know some people have been watching the recordings, and I got it out yesterday. So I was sick, and then Fen actually had my assistant, our assistant, had a death in her family. So actually took Wednesday to Friday off to travel for the funeral for that. So yeah, so that's what happened last week. So it was like, a little bit like all crazy. I'm just writing an article on resilience for our newsletter this week. So, which I actually presented on about resilience at an International Women's Day event on Sunday night, just before I kind of like went down about 90 minutes later with a fever. So that was an interesting experience after flooding our house a couple of days before, which a lot of you may have heard of. So yeah, anyway, it's obviously a moving through to the next phase and having a big cleanse. So over to you, Justin, who says Nicole Dennis.
Do I? Oh, I did change that name. That's weird. Sorry about that. Okay, so hello everyone. Hope you're fantastic. Look, yeah, so I'm actually not sure what I spoke about last week, but I think it may have been about the resilience because we were dealing with a lot of things on all fronts. And just looking at how you're going mid-program and what are your habits and what do you do to self-empower yourself to keep you on track. So, things like having your vision boards, your My Inspirational Movie, your why statements, and a list of a DMO to go to so you can refocus your energies whenever you need to. Sometimes you need to have a cup of tea or a coffee or even a wine with someone to help you chill out and move on or have a debrief. Even accountability buddies. Has everyone is in an accountability group? And how's that going? Yeah, some feedback on that. So accountability groups and accountability buddies, really, really important to keep track of things. I find myself often I don't get everything what I set out to do. Often I don't get even half of it done, right? But it's helping me stay focused on it. And that's the key. So, at this point in the program, perhaps it's a good idea to just revisit your why for doing this program. Where is your goal? Where's your target set? And what can you do to elevate your game and get up there? Is anyone exceeding their goal at this point in time? Anyone like to exceed their goal at this point in time? Yay, there's 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Great work. So yeah, so sometimes it's like that, right? You got to lift yourself up. Is the cup half full or half empty? It can be a perception thing. And what was it? I think I said last week, fear is a reaction and courage is the decision. So it's about having that mental fortitude and resilience and choosing your way forward. So yeah, so hopefully you've got your why, you've got your DMO, you've got either a vision board or some sort of emotional stimulus for how you're heading forward. Has anyone not got those 3 things in place to support you on the journey? Be honest, it's okay. So everyone on the call's got their why. You've all got your DMO, and you've all got your either a vision board or a My Inspirational Movie. Yes or no? Is that hands up? No. Okay, hands up. So there were 3 hands up for yes, I believe. It's very ambiguous. Okay, cool. 4, 5, excellent. 6, brilliant. So 7. So if you don't have those 3 things, it's crazy that you may feel that it's crazy that we keep harping on about it, but it really is mindset. Right? Really is mindset. The key to success in this business is about 2 inches, going from your your frontal cortex, where you have the conscious thoughts about, I would like to be a bronze. I would like to have this income. I would like to have this house, this car, these things, these choices, to a couple of inches back into the limbic system where you embody the emotion of getting it done. And the DMO becomes second nature moving forward. Margot's on the call. Hello, Margot. Let's give her a round of applause. Hey, Margot, we're wishing you well. You've gone through a serious traumatic experience and you're still here both weeks. absolutely phenomenal. Hat off to you, to your commitment.
So what I thought would be good to do today is have a bit of a Q&A, but I'd also like to lay down a challenge to everyone. So I believe, you know, everything that we want is really on the other side of like fear. Like, so, you know, like who's on your chicken list? Or I know Tiani, like raised in a messenger group that she feels uncomfortable being on, like talking to people on Zoom, like she prefers to do it in person. So yeah, it's great to do it in person. However, in this business, you will need to learn to do both. So it's like, what can you do to overcome like your biggest fear? So I would love if everyone, you know, in terms of like commitment to action, so we've done a lot of training and like setting you up, but like what is something that you are scared of doing in your business? And what action are you going to take in the next 48 hours to do something that is scary, but to take action? Does that make sense? Am I clear? Yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I can role model that. So I have challenges around cold calling, right? Cold calling is actually something I did much more in the early days of my business. And you know, when you go through your list, and sometimes like literally I'll drive past a salon or a clinic or something, or I see someone walk out of a business and I'm like, I bet they're the business owner and I'd love to connect with them. It actually happened to me yesterday. A guy walked out of a nail bar, an Asian looking guy, looked pretty funky, and I had my hands full of groceries and had all the excuses come up about why I shouldn't just go and speak to him, which was my initial, I should go and talk to him. And I didn't, right? I copped out. And so it's this is what you're talking about, right, Nikki? Is like, how do we rise to the challenge and do the things that we're most afraid of, you know? So I'm going to go back and speak to the Asian guy from the nail bar. And I have zero relationship with him.
Yeah. So it's like we all have fears, right? Like every single one of us. So yeah, I'm going to reach out to someone who's contacted me and I haven't like reached back out to them because I'm not sure what to say. See, I still have the problems and I'm going to like do that. I do like to do a lot of voice reach out. So yeah, last week I was also very limited because I sounded even worse than I do now. All right, next. Who else has got a big fear that they're going to, and what are you going to do to overcome it? So like by taking action, this is the magic, right? The action. Like, I've got this fear, I'm going to do it anyway, even if it means rejection, even if it means it doesn't go how I'd like it to go.
I would suggest if you've not done home presentations, an in-home presentation, hosted one yourself, where you put yourself on the line and what you believe in on the line, and you invite 30 to 100 people to come to your place and actually do a presentation, or at least if you don't have the skill to do a presentation, which is literally a 2-pager right now because the home kit is so good, but at least have someone else come and do the presentation part, but you be the host or the hostess where you welcome your people and you just facilitate the process. I would suggest that is one of the most powerful things you can do. And definitely have some people there that have been using the product as well, that have got great testimonials, and just go through that process of running an event. And like none of us had, well, maybe Janine had done it a lot before from previous business, but a lot of us had never done that before. And it was strange, but it was also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. The small group meetings, that's obviously with restrictions and if you can, but right now I think most of us can probably get away with that. But so, yeah, so back to you. Anyone not done that would like to rise to the challenge?
I'm actually in the process of organising one, and Jeanette and Jen are coming along to talk. So I've been seeing some of my friends, workmates, ex-workmates socially recently and teeing it up with them. So I've just got to firm the date and I'm going to have it in my place. And that's been a challenge for me to have any visitors or guests in my place for a long time because I live in a spacious mess. So yeah. It's about, it's actually okay, I'll just clean up and somebody else will do the, and one of my friends who's going to come, she's got all the gear for a high tea. you know, and so I'm looking at asking people if I can borrow different things so they actually have an involvement, and also they'll have a commitment to coming.
That is super exciting. Well done, Diana. Like
Yeah.
that. See, I wouldn't have known that was something that you're challenged by, because to me, I hear you speak well and with authority and, you know, passionately, and I would never have thought that that's like something that you've been challenged by. And confronting it, being responsible about your space and, you know, having that right environment for it all, you know, like regardless of the outcome to the business, is just by doing that going to enrich your life.
Yeah. It's not about speaking to people. It's not about that at all. It's about actually letting people into my home. And, you know, Freud said the home is the symbol of the self. So I think my mindset has changed hugely lately. And I've offered to talk on about anxiety and the reduction in anxiety that I've experienced recently. So that's about changing the mindset, and it's about saying, well, my home actually is okay, and I'm okay, and people will come. And then Jen and Jeanette had suggested maybe they could invite some people who live in my area.
Yeah, that is beautiful, Diana. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that, because to me, I didn't see an anxious person when I hear you speak. I actually see courage, you know, so that's the flip side of the coin, right? Sometimes people don't know what's going on for us, but you're dealing it. That's amazing. Congratulations. Well done. Give a round of applause, everyone, because that's brave. That's great. Anyone else? What's a challenge that you're struggling with that you'd like to put yourself on the line with?
Justin, I want to reach out to a community of people that I was part of, and some of those people I know and some of them I don't know. So I'm going to practice on the ones I don't know, but my fear is getting the approach correct, getting it right. So I'll work with Nicole on that, and I'll come up with, you know, the perfect what is perfect, but something I'm comfortable with, right? But I just notice that's getting in the way. Like, oh my God, what if I don't get it right? Yeah. Yep. So that's there for me, because look, I want to start talking to people on LinkedIn, and that's getting in the way. So Nicole, I'm going to book a time with you.
Awesome. But isn't this fascinating, right? Like that this is a thing. Like, so Janine is a diamond leader. She has a big organization, huge volume every week, struggling with this. And what was the message that you got when someone reached out to you, Janine?
Oh, hey, you know, I thought of you because you're interested in health and well-being. Take a look at this.
Can you see how we all overcomplicate stuff?
Yeah, that's all she said. But you know, but it's a timing thing. Like seriously, I believe I attracted that. I pulled that to me, and you know, so yes, it is about timing. Even when we're reaching out to people, I get that. And it's got to be a super simple message, because you know what? That spoke to me louder than anything else she could have said. So, and it wasn't much, right?
I think
it's so simple.
I think this is a good message to all of you sitting here and like listening to even, you know, myself, Justin, Janine, who are already at the diamond rank, like sharing like our struggles with this. We didn't think about it this much when we were starting. We were just like, hey, this is awesome. Come and check it out.
You know what's really interesting? Like if somebody else asked me what would they say, I'd come up with it like straight away, roll off my tongue. But then when it comes to me, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to say? It's all about just trying to get it right, and you're never going to get it right. But at least you want to feel comfortable with the message you're sending out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is really speaking into fear, false expectation appearing real.
Yeah.
My experience is I have developed scripts. I've developed a plan of action of like what I've wanted to say to people, and I've gone out and knocked on doors and called people I knew, and what came out of my mouth was not what was written down. or I did say what was written down. I did execute my plan, and then it didn't feel right, so I changed it.
Yeah, I think it's harder for me. Like if I'm just talking to somebody, could talk underwater. But when you've got that, you feel like you've got that one opportunity to pique their interest on a message on LinkedIn, for example. Yeah, it's very different.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think
Um,
I think we all need to reframe it's not one opportunity, right? Like, so
Yeah,
there's the
that's-
initial contact that might
Yeah.
not work. Then you might send them a happy birthday message in 6 months' time, and
Yeah.
they're
Exactly.
like, oh, see
That's-
what you sent previously. So, you know,
Yeah.
it is, and as you said, Janine, it is about timing.
Mm.
So I think it's, yeah, like it's overcoming that fear and stepping onto the other side of it.
Oh, it is. It's crazy. I'm just noticing the procrastination, but it's as Justin started out, it's just fear, right?
Mhm.
Fear of getting it wrong, fear of failure, fear it might not work, like stupid stuff but it's common for all of us, right? And we all hit it at some point, and then you get beyond it, and then you bump up against it again. There's that, what do they say, that old chestnut? Yeah. There's a couple of questions in the chat box too. One of them, yeah.
Answer those questions. Can I just add that it's got to, you, when you put yourself into a position and an emotion of being excited about what you're doing, think about what got you involved, you know, what was it that interested you? And then when you approach somebody, I always say, look, I thought of you because, you know, you're dynamic or you're entrepreneurial, or, you know, and this may or may not be for you, but I really, from my heart, believe that you need to know about it. You know, so depending on whether you're contacting someone from a product perspective, but we're all targeting business people, right? So we're looking for the business builders. So you can say, you just give them an out. Hey, look, this may or may not be for you, but I just really believe that you need to know about it. And it's just simple, you know, and it's going to be yes or no. And if it's a no, it's like, well, may I touch base with you in a few months and see how you're going?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want it to sound like, you know, the classic approach. That's what I'm stuck with. So it's coming up with, yeah, something that I feel comfortable with. Exactly. Thanks for that, Joy.
And Julie is the master of it, just getting out there and getting it done.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. And listen, it's just a numbers game anyway. Mm.
That's it, because it will be the right timing for some, and it won't be for others.
Cole, can I say something, please?
Yes, Margot.
I'm battling with technology this morning because I've got my laptop here, but can't get enough Wi-Fi on it. And of course, our phone bill is hiking every time I use Wi-Fi on the phone. But never mind, I couldn't miss the call. But what I wanted to say is that I haven't realised that it's been a fear, but I've been very good at making contact with people on Messenger. Well, my eyesight's been affected by this episode, and I'm not doing well typing out on a little phone keyboard. So I've been leaving voice messages. And I did hear somebody on a call since I've been in hospital, so it has to have been last Tuesday maybe. I think Janine was talking about making phone calls. And of course, everybody's voice, if we don't use our voice because it's got our heart behind it, then we're not really making contact. And that's what challenged me, that I really need to be doing more voice calls, whether it be a voice call on Messenger, which I've got rather good at doing the little audio clips. And I've got to do a lot more of that. So, and what Julie's saying is perfect. This may or may not be for you, because I've actually made some personal contacts here in hospital, three nurses, and I've got one of the doctors. I've written down amazingmolecules.com for him to go and look up, and they're all a bit intrigued with this stuff they've never heard of. There you go.
Great, Margot.
Look at that, Margot, turning adversity into a way to overcome a barrier that you've like not been comfortable doing, sending a voice clip and using that. That's so, you know, and Margot's been through a big health crisis, for those of you who don't know, and been in hospital. So if Margot can do it, we can all do it too, right? All right, who else wants to share their fear and what they're going to do to overcome it this week?
Andrea, she was first.
Sorry, Shaz, I beat you. I think my big fear is around Facebook Lives and LinkedIn Lives.
Mhm.
Just getting things sounding right for a live.
Yeah.
And I've been avoiding them, but I know they're far more successful than posts.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that over the next 48 hours.
Woohoo!
Congratulations. That's a great effort. Great commitment.
I think I like LinkedIn ones better because you can have a few trial ones before it actually goes live in LinkedIn.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you, Andrea.
Who's next?
Sharon.
I don't really have a fear to share, but I have a little experience that I just wanted to kind of follow on to what you were saying before about talking to people, and that I had someone prospect me this morning, which I love when people prospect me, right? But this person I had prospected 3 years ago, and they had prospected me before that for a company I was already in. And so even though we had some, uncomfortable conversations and, it was a bit awkward and difficult, we built a relationship where we could just keep going backwards and forwards until we both found the right thing that we both liked together and we'd join it. So sometimes I'm talking, this is a 3-year period. And so we've just had a beautiful conversation this morning about networking and about some other things. So that being able to just talk to people and build those relationships, it might not be the right time right now, but keep in contact with those people, because they just, things pop up all the time where circumstances change. So I was just feeling very grateful. So I just wanted to share my gratitude to be, obviously in ASEA, learning all these things every week with everybody, sharing the challenges, sharing the fears, and just doing it anyway. So I just wanted to share that little story about people come back to you. If you're good to people and it's really genuine, people will always come back to you. They will trust you and they will invite you to things which will then expand your network. So she's really just allowing me to go into her network and do my thing, even though we're not in the same business. So it's an interesting, patience and perseverance is an interesting thing.
Mm. Anyone else want to share what fear they're going? Yes, Tiani.
This is my fear.
I know. Good to see the camera on.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Looks good.
it's so funny because, put me in front of someone and I can talk fine. Put a camera in front of me and I just, it's strange because it's not real. Fear is not real. You're just making shit up.
Yeah.
And so I did challenge myself today to speak to 2 people on Zoom that I don't even know.
Mhm.
And so I got off one Zoom about half an hour ago and it was fine. We had a great conversation. This guy in the UK, I learned a lot about him. And I said, I feel really uncomfortable on Zoom, and so I'm just going to do it more often. And he said, I wouldn't have even known.
Awesome.
Like, story gone.
Yeah. Really powerful. And that's awesome, Tiani, because Tiani posted this and I kind of replied this morning and said, it's great if you can get out and meet people face to face, but that really limits you in a business like this to only people that you can get to, right? And your business is going to grow and be more powerful if you can do both, if you can do online and face to face. Like face to face is awesome. Like you do get that connection even more. However, you need to learn how to do both, especially if you're going to build a global team. Unless you never want to get off a plane, which I can tell you is not fun.
Yeah.
Can
I love the words of Trish Wankler. Sorry, so come back to you in a sec, Chris. Trish Wankler said, you start in your cul-de-sac and you end up all over the globe. That's how this business works. So if you don't want to be chasing those people all over the globe via planes, which is obviously harder in this day and age, Zoom is the way. Congratulations, Tiana. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, mate. I don't think this is a fear, but it's probably just being a bit slack, is utilising Tuesday night calls and getting inviting to Tuesday night calls. And
Yep.
I haven't been on all of them, so I'm slack, and that's probably pushes down to the people who are under me. So David challenged us in our Friday calls to get 2 people on tonight. So this morning I did like 2 hours worth of inviting, just smashed the hell out of it, like 40 odd people or whatever. And yeah, David was mentioning to us last Friday that they built a lot of their business on Tuesday night calls. In the early days, they had like 20 people, and I'm like, wow, okay, well, that's really underutilizing that presentation and the time you guys to do that. So I'm going to get more, more effort into that. And just to add to what Sharon was talking about, I've been networked. I shared this with David on Friday. It was networked for a product, and it actually showed me what not to do. The lady, and a bit like what Janine says, like the classic pitch, she was like, you're either with me or you're not. I'm like, I just want some information about the product.
Well, that's terrible, isn't it?
I mean, this is a pretty high-end product. It's a phone and da-da-da-da. You guys might have seen it, but she's like, I just want some information. She's like, well, I don't want to argue with you. You're either with me or you see this vision or you don't. I'm like, oh, that's the classic. You either see the vision or you don't. I don't know the information yet.
Yeah.
So when you see this happening, you can reflect it back and go, right, I know exactly what not to do,
There's the difference between hunting and fishing. Hunting, you're out to get people, stab them with a spear. And fishing, you're out to like provide bait that people already want. They already want the solution to their problems, and they're attracted to you. And the only reason why they're willing to nibble on your bait is because they trust you, they know you, like you, and trust you.
And we will switch out tonight's presenter to Justin, because I don't think I can go half an hour without doing a cough, which is not a good look when you have prospects on there.
Okay, I just learned about it.
That was his information memo by this as well, by the way.
Just roll with it.
All right, we got anyone else who wants to commit to what they're going to do to overcome their fear this week? What a fear that they've got and what they're going to do. I love the challenge that you set to your team, David, too. That's awesome.
Yeah, great leadership. That's awesome. All right, who else on the call that hasn't shared something that they something that's come up for them that's getting in the way of them being powerful in their business or getting results in their business, or something that's that they have been knowing they should have done but not done, had that internal voice about something that they want to do? Is that Julie?
Can I add just another little bit?
Yes, Margot.
The fact that I haven't been excited enough about this extraordinary product that we have, this extraordinary technology, and that's what I know I can get into my voice now, because this is so impactful. There's nothing like this on the planet. You've got to get that. We have to get that deep down in our heart, and therefore I'm going to be saying to people more often, not telling you about this would be really doing you a great disservice.
Yeah.
And then what Julie says, if it may not be for you, but this product can help everyone. This technology. I try not to use the word product, actually. I say this technology, this brand new, fabulous health technology can help everyone.
Yeah. Great work. Exactly. That's what Julie said before. And by saying that this may or may not be for you, it's a really nice way to give people an out, right? Because people do not want that hunting feeling, that being hunted feeling. They want choice. So we want to empower. Like, what is the whole purpose of us doing our SEER business? It's about improving the quality of life for ourselves and others, right? So there's no way we want to be like hurting people. We actually want to empower people to make the right choice and give them guidance and direction along the way. But yeah, that's right. Okay, Julie, were you about to speak? You're looking great there, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to look better shortly. I'm on my way to the hairdresser.
Giddy up. What's
I've
going on?
decided no grey. I'm going to stay younger looking for longer.
Lovely. Good for you.
I missed the beginning because we couldn't get on the technology, but what Tiani was saying about, and Margot was saying about hiding behind technology and Messenger and all the rest of it. I am like super fast on the keyboard. Everyone comments how quickly I can send a message and all the rest of it. And I can feel like I'm doing lots and multitasking, being really busy. But I had the same revelation is that I'm hiding behind the keyboard instead of actually picking up the phone. And then I was telling myself lies about, like, I know lots and lots of people on Facebook. I'm connected on social media, but I don't have their phone numbers, so I can't ring them. And then I just was reminded that, you know, I could do a live call through Messenger because I've got everybody's ability to call everybody through that as well. And kept telling myself that, oh no, I'll just type a message, and, you know, because it's a fear and it's been recognized now. And so now I've started actually making more phone calls in the last 2 days.
Great.
And remembering how much I actually enjoy talking to people person to person. I think the COVID thing has allowed us to just like stop. Zoom calls and Facebook Lives I have shied away from in every kind of business coaching or life coaching. I go, yeah, I'll do everything else but that. And then just like listening to Tiani and going, you know what, you look great, you sound great. It's so nice to actually hear your voice and see your face. It actually is way more meaningful and way more purposeful. So yeah, I'm going to get brave and start doing more Zoom calls and more face-to-face and more phone calls and hear people's voices. So
brilliant.
That's awesome.
So I'd like you to all share in the group like your fear and what you're going to do to overcome, like what action you're going to take. And I would suggest that you take the action in the next 48 hours. Don't leave it the next week. Take the action. And then, you know, we've did a lot about, we did a call a few weeks ago about looking at the 4 areas, you know, important, urgent, not important, and, you know, where you can delegate and resource things. So make sure that you are doing that, and make sure if you have got a schedule and you've got a commitment, you've told someone you're going to follow up, or you've got it in your diary to be on a call, be there. If you can't be there, have some integrity to let the person know that you can't be there. So you need to bring, this is a business, right? So you need to bring integrity to doing this as a business person in the same way that you would bring integrity to being a quality and valued employee if you had a job, if you've ever had a job where you've had that role where, you know, you have to be somewhere at a certain time and you have certain responsibilities that you have to meet. The difference with this is that you have to be the one to hold you accountable. You know, we're not going to be there going, well, you didn't do your calls, you didn't do this, you didn't do your follow-ups. You have to hold yourself accountable, but to get the outcome, that has to happen. So you need to bring that professionalism and integrity to what you're doing. Like, you know, this is the Build to Bronze program. You want to be an executive. You want to get that income of being a consistently paid bronze, you know, $2,000-$3,000 a month US, then you, guess what, need to bring some professionalism and integrity to everything that you do. So I think that's kind of all from me today. I'll put a note in there so you can all reply and comment with you know, what you're going to do. Did you see I managed to fix the Telegram group so the comments show up? Did you all see that? Like, whoa, mind blowing. Yeah, there you go. So I just, you know, took me a little while to figure out the technology, but I've got it sorted now. So I would love you to all share what you're going to do in the next 48 hours. And obviously all of us as leaders are, you know, have still got our fears to overcome. It's always a doing, right? Every single day.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone contributing. Go out there, have a fantastic week. Do what you need to do to make it happen and have the life of your dreams, because we have got such a great opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Life rocks.
Thank you for a fabulous call, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Great work, Margot. Keep getting better too. Bye, everyone.
Margot.
I'll do a voice call, Margot.